first embraced Islam after about 2 years. I went to study, and I studied in Morocco. And I came back, and then when I came back, I must have been 19 and a half, maybe nearly 20. I had what I now look back at and was just a little bit, I just sort of lost my way a little bit, if that's a good way of putting it. And I sort of started distancing myself and becoming very disillusioned with what I'd learned, and I was just lost. I was confused. I was a young guy. So at that time, I lived with my parents in a place called Chester, and they had a house. I lived in the attic. It was 3 stories, so I lived in the attic conversion. And this one evening, I was woken up by the call to prayer, the adhan. Now, just to give you some context, the nearest masjid to where my parents lived was about 10 miles away. That's number one. Number two, the call to prayer was not allowed to be called out of a minaret, right? So even if it was around the corner, you're not going to hear it. I woke up to the adhan playing in my room in the loft. And I sat up at the bed and I thought, I'm clearly dreaming and I'm just all over the place. And it didn't stop until the adhan had finished. And I didn't have an alarm clock. You know, there's alarm clocks that go off and do the adhan. There was one of those. There was none of that. This was a long time ago. That incident made me realise that this isn't a joke. This is not a joke, and this isn't going anywhere. This is a real thing. And you know, bearing in mind, I was the kind of guy or lad or kid or whatever you want to say at the time who I didn't believe in any religion, didn't believe in anything beyond what I could see. Okay, so I was very typical in that respect. So when this happened to me, you can imagine how much this has moved me. Okay, where I'm literally now, oh, what has just happened? What has just happened? And that was a big turning point for me, because it was something beyond. It was it was an experience that was not comprehensible. It couldn't be explained. And that was a little incident of one. I'm going to start doing a few of these little stories. That was one little story that started to kind of pull me back. So yeah, I hope that is a little bit of inspiration for people. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But I'm sure someone, inshallah, if someone gets some benefit from it, alhamdulillah, I'll be happy. And you know, inshallah, more people want to hear more of these little stories that I had along the journey. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.